You know, the more leaks we get for this movie, the more I dread its release. So we recently got some new merchandise for the Flash movie that comes out this June, and I already see a problem here. Now, people have been speculating who the hell is going to be the villain in this movie because the teaser trailer didn't show crap. And we're apparently getting a trailer for the Super Bowl, but that's not for another 3 weeks. This divisional... Yeah, 3 weeks until the Super Bowl. So we'll be getting a trailer in a little less than a month. But recently, like I said, new merchandise has been leaked. I don't know if this was actually, found on store shelves or if this was leaked online. But it has basically revealed who the villain of the movie is, because there were a ton of speculations, most of them being around this other variation of Barry Allen, the one who's wearing the painted Batman suit that looks like a fucking cosplay. And that might still be the case. He might still be a villain. Like, a lot of people have been speculating that he's Reverse Flash, or that he's... I think I saw some that he's Savitar. And originally there were a few things, like when that first symbol, like the Batman suit with the painted lightning bolt was released, that people were speculating that it was going to be Red Death. And, of course, at least the Red Death one, and I'm assuming the Savitar one, aren't either, because Savitar, if you have only seen the TV show and you haven't read the comics, you don't know that Savitar isn't actually Barry Allen in the comics. He's not some time remnant of Barry Allen. But now it's basically been revealed that the villain of the movie is titled Dark Flash. Now, I take issue with this because, okay, so right here I still have the I've had this picture up the entire time. And this is what it looks like. Now, Dark Flash is a character from the comics. There were a few comments on the post that I saw saying, really, they don't have any, they have this wide rogues gallery of Flash villains, they had to create a new one. Technically, this is not a new villain. Now, if you haven't read the comics, in basic terms, Dark Flash is an evil variant of Wally West. Not Barry Allen, Wally West. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is that Dark Flash looks like this. And this is what he looks like in the movie. And it's been heavily speculated that this version of Dark Flash is taking more from Black Flash. Now, once again, in this case, if you've seen the TV show, you get the basic gist of it. The Black Flash is essentially the enforcer of the Speed Force. He targets speedsters who have messed with the timeline. In the show, it was Hunter Zolomon, but in the comics, it's been a bunch of different people. Even Barry Allen was Black Flash for a time. I just spit everywhere. So it's not like this is a new concept, but okay, first off, I already mentioned, why is this Dark Flash then? Because Dark Flash is a completely different character. Like I said, Dark Flash is an evil variant of Wally West. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's an alternate version, from a different universe. But I believe he showed up sometime after Wally West died in the comics. I haven't read a lot of comics revolving around Wally West. Most of the Flash comics I've read either revolved around Barry Allen or Jay Garrick. So I haven't read a ton about Wally West, but I did do some basic research for this, and I believe that's what happened. So and I'm assuming a lot of people have been speculating, like I said, that this is going to be a variation of Black Flash, like it's the enforcer of the Speed Force, and I will say that is an okay idea for the villain. He screwed up the timeline with Flashpoint, and now Black Flash is going after him, something that the TV show kind of ditched. The Time Wraith didn't show up until he went into the Speed Force 3/4 of the way through that season after he made Flashpoint. So that in and of itself is a decent idea. But why is this Dark Flash then? Again, I know there are going to be a ton of people telling me, oh, it's not a big deal, it's not a big deal. Yeah, it is, because what this is telling me is that the people who made this movie didn't actually read the comics. Because over here, we also see that there's a young Barry, who's the alternate version, the one with Michael Keaton's Batman and with Supergirl. So this is just, at least from this is showing that it's another version of Barry Allen. For all we know, this is another villain. Maybe it's Reverse Flash in disguise, or maybe it's some other speedster in disguise, or maybe it's just evil Barry Allen. For all we know, they could be taking inspiration from the TV show and making him Savitar. For all we know. God, I hope that's not the route they go, because the show handled that so poor. They handled Savitar so poorly, and if the movie did that, they'd probably do it just as bad. But I digress. Like, if they made this character, if they put Black Flash on here, I'd actually be pretty excited. Because the villain I would have done for a Flashpoint movie, I think Red Death could have been a cool villain for this, but I understand why they didn't want to go that route. But Black Flash being the villain of a Flashpoint movie is honestly on paper pretty genius. But that's not who this is. This is apparently Dark Flash, and it's a completely different character. Again, people are going to jump at me and tell me that it's not a big deal, but what this tells me, one, this just shows pure laziness, and two, it shows me that the people who are making this movie aren't familiar with the comics. I'm guessing the people who are making this movie have only seen the TV show and maybe read some basic Flash comics. There's like the same people that make Batman movies, like they read the same basic four. It's like The Long Halloween and The Dark Knight Returns, and it's like and The Killing Joke. It's like the most basic Batman stories are the only ones that Tim Burton or Christopher Nolan and even Matt Reeves took for their movies, because it's like I've heard this complaint before. It's like baby's first Batman comics, and that's exactly what it is. So all this is showing me is that these people don't know what they're doing. I want to like the Flash movie. I really do. Flash is easily my favorite DC hero. I want to like this movie. But stuff like this is making it hard for me to anticipate the movie. It doesn't help the presence of Ezra Miller, but in theory, I could let that go because it's inevitable at this point. The movie was made before he got in all this trouble, although from what I've heard, he came back to do reshoots while he was having these legal troubles, so I don't know, but even still, it would have been too costly to reshoot the entire movie, and it would have been too costly to cancel it or shove it on HBO Max, so I get it. That I can let go. But stuff like this is just showing me that they don't know what they're doing. They haven't read the comics. They don't know who these characters are. They're picking random names from the comics, and they're changing them into something they're not. So, that's all I got for this. I'll see you all next time. Bye.